This is a quick how-to to build a swivel for your GoPro Hero 3 to attach to a motorcycle handlebar mount that GoPro makes. So basically this is what I start with. This right here is a 1/2 inch joint used for underground sprinkling. And basically what it does is, got one end with a PVC pipe, you got the second end. You got a rubber O-ring, and you put it together, and it seals. It's waterproof. This is a lifesaver if you work on underground sprinkling. So that's what I've started my swivel with. I've taken a 1/2 inch joint, again, union, and again it comes apart. Same thing. Now you're going to see this is 3/4 inch and 3/4 inch. I buy these at Home Depot. You can get them with threads on either end, which you don't want. You just get the smooth. You take a 1/2 inch PVC, buy like 12 inch pre-cut sizes for $1.50 or so. Put it in. Same thing on the other side. Now, that's basically what I start with. Now you've got the GoPro mounts. Got one with the nut to tighten it, and you have one that goes in like this to be tightened too. So this is what I've done. I've taken the Hero mount and I've ground off right here and right here. Just a little bit. And this, just enough to fit in, snug fit. And I've done the same thing with this one. You didn't have to take very much off. And boom, another one, another snug fit. Okay, so there is the basic start of it. Now, when you set this up, you're gonna have to look at your mounts to see exactly what you have, but this is a normal setting. You need the bottom two for the GoPro handlebar mount, because it has the nut on the end like this, and you put the screw in, just tighten it up. This is what you need for the GoPro camera, the case that holds in, and then you run again this through and it tightens it up. And I'll show you on my bike when I get done here. Now, so you got this all made up. Now the next step is you have to secure all this. So I use JB Weld. It's the best bonding made. Now, I put these in as far as I can, and I mix up the JB Weld, and if you see in there, I filled up so, you know, it's at the bottom of this collar. And it takes a couple hours to set up. Actually, it takes 6 minutes, but to be hard, you should let it sit for 24 hours. Before you do this, you're going to notice there's a couple holes here. Just put like a little caulking. Just run just a little caulking. Don't fill it up. And when you fill the JB Weld in there, it won't run out. And if it does run out, you just take a razor blade and clean it up. And you do the same thing to this side. Same thing. Now, the nice thing about this, these have the hole through it, and it's got the spacing. You put this in, and you run the JB Weld, again, through the top on both sides. It's going to go inside there, and it's going to bond it all together, so there's no movement. It's set. You never lose this. So that is again, let it sit for 24 hours, and when you get all done, it's not going anywhere. Okay, so that being said, here is the basic look on my GoPro. Now the process of it is to mount it to, say this is a GoPro handlebar mount. So you just set it on there, like so, and there it is. Now, this has that O-ring, and that's the friction that keeps this from moving loosely. You don't, see, I move this by hand, and I can just tighten it a little bit, and it's real tight. Just a fraction. Now, if you keep it just a fraction loose like that, you can ride all day, and it won't move. But when you're ready to move it, it's ready. And as you use it, you get practice and all. This is still a little loose because I haven't glued anything. But it works like a charm. I've used it several times. Never fails, doesn't break, and it's cheap and it's simple. That's all you want. You want to have something that you're not going to take your eyes and hands off the road too much. It's something you can almost do without thinking. Because it's still about safety riding these bikes, especially I ride a V8 chopper, and they're powerful motors, so you got to keep your eyes open all the time. Now, this basically is all there is to it. Real simple. Now, keep in mind, some of these come with 3, and they have a nut on the end. And if you don't need that, you have to match all this up before you glue it. Just take a screwdriver and bend it down, and take a pliers and just bend it, break it, and it makes an even break. And you end up with your load tab off. Again, when you set this up, before you glue everything, make sure you got the right fittings on the right end. Make sure it's not like this so that it screws down. Make sure that it screws this way. I like to mount mine as low to the GoPro mount as possible, only because if you don't, you're going to get, and this is going to be pretty heavy by the time you fill with the JB Weld, you're going to eliminate a lot of vibration. And I know a lot of guys, their bikes have more vibration than say the one I ride. So if you do want to build it higher, then you have to take it like so and build it up this way. Because if you start at the bottom, you have this union at the top, it's going to go like this. So if you start at the bottom, it's going to be a lot stabler. Now, this isn't glued in or tightened up, so you see a little play in it, but that's the thought behind it. I think most people are going to find that having 2 small unions and just hammer these in, and they're set, and the JB Weld will glue everything together. That's probably going to be high enough because you've got the mount, and I'll show you here. I've got a Dakota digital dash on mine, and you can kind of see it, but it doesn't bother me. And if you have it too high, then it just stands out too much. Like I say, you get too much vibration. So that is basically it in a nutshell. My bike has a black frame and black handlebars, so I've got Rust-Oleum, and it's a hammered texture like this, and it matches pretty good. Now, when you paint this, keep in mind one thing. And this is only because I made this mistake. I sprayed it, and you get some on these threads or inside. You can't hardly screw this down. And if you put any kind of, if it gets stuck on it, you're reefing on it, you can break one of these little tabs on the mount. So my last one I did, I just took a little brush, sprayed this in a little open can, and I just painted it. And I just painted the places that are the most noticeable so I don't see white. And that's just from experience, because I broke one of these by, it's set up and I couldn't get it loose. I tried to loosen it too much and it broke. So let me take over my bike and let me show you what I have, the finished product here. Okay, here is the handlebar mount. And you see it's got the nut, so you tighten it from the bottom, and the GoPro camera case doesn't. It goes into a mount with a nut on the end. So that's why you got to make sure that what you're doing is correct. Make sure you got all your mounts correct. Now I'll set this camera down here, and I'll show you what I mean. mine. You can tighten it here. If you loosen it up a little bit, you can drop this down if you want. Once you set it, then you just have to play with your settings, make sure the camera's straight and all. But the nice thing about this is, I got it tight right there. Just back up a little bit, and here you go. Film backwards, sideways, to the right, forward. Get your buddies on their bikes, or my wife rides a V8 chopper trike, so I film her a lot. And that's it. Now, as I'm riding, this thing won't move. It won't move. It's because of the O-ring on the bottom of this mount. There's enough friction to keep it from moving. And it's real simple. This is the simplest, easiest, cheapest way to build a swivel. Right there. There it is. Now, you can see, I've got a few videos on YouTube showing me using this. You can see how it works. It's effortless. It doesn't interfere with my Dakota digital dash. It gives me all my readings of my bike. It's just right here. I don't have to reach for it. I've had it back here, but then if you turn sideways, you get too much mirror. I tried it up here. You're reaching too far. It's still about safety. And that really, in a nutshell, is it. This piece right here, it's going to cost you $2.50, this unit. You're going to have your mounts with your camera, or you can buy extra mounts. The PVC, like say, is about $1 or so. Just cut them to length, however you want it. I got the texture look on here, it matches pretty close. And that's a couple bucks for a can of that. And so you got a whole thing and JB Weld for under 10 bucks. And you got a really nice looking outfit. Nobody else has these. Everybody else is facing forward. You drive down the road, you get home, you download the camera and go, oh wow, I can't see so-and-so here or so-and-so here. Now you can, just like this. And you're going to find you're going to be taking a lot more pictures to the sides because of people riding with you. Forward is great too, but you'll see as you take videos, you're going to see what I mean. Got to give this a try. Seriously, this works better than anything on the market. And that's about it in a nutshell.